In this video, we will talk about what Dominic Isaac said about Njabulo Ngcobo. We'll also talk about Junior Mendieta. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I'm your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Khosi Football Club. So let's start with what Dominic Isaac said about Njabulo Ngcobo, which is Uguti, you cannot force a coach to play a player he didn't sign. That's one of the things that he said when he had an interview. Now, I know that a lot of people have been blaming Uzwane for not playing Njabulo Ngcobo and this and that. And there are other things that Dominic Isaac said, which we'll talk about as the video continues. But I want to start with this one. Because when I read this, my mind remembered Ugutaibu. Yazi njalo, the way we're talking about how Njabulo Ngcobo is not being played by Uzwane, there is also the fact that some people were saying he doesn't trust him, but it makes sense sometimes with a coach, if you didn't sign a player, then you're not going to play him because you signed Ukwinika, who you trust more. I know Ukwinika didn't have a better season than Njabulo Ngcobo. They probably had the same kind of season. I know Njabulo Ngcobo played fewer games, but at the end of the day, there is the fact that there are coaches who just have their own players. Like no matter what happens, you know, Guti, certain coaches will have certain players. A prime example of that, a good example of this is Jose Mourinho no Nemanja Matic. He signed him with Chelsea, he went to United, he signed him to United, he went to Roma, he signed him with Roma. So there are coaches who just have their players and they prefer to have certain kind of players playing for them. And anyone else is not favored, and it's because that player was never in the coach's plan. As such, they never play. And by the way, while we're on this, I remember Guti, even before this, Baxter, was it Baxter last season? Yeah, it was Baxter last season, who even converted Njabulo Ngcobo from playing as a centre back into playing as a central defensive midfielder because he didn't trust him as a defender. He might have given us all the reasons that he wanted, but it's clear Uguti people and the coaches that have been there with Chiefs, they seem like they kind of have this fear Yokumdlalisa as a centre back because what ends up happening is that he makes mistakes. And when he does make mistake, it leads to the next thing, which is what Dominic Isaacs also talked about. Uguti, then once you make mistakes, then you start doubting yourself. And the moment you doubt yourself, that's where people can tell this one I confidence. And when you don't have confidence, even the strikers, even the players who are playing against you, they will now capitalize on that because they know what Alo wins a mistake in the previous game and now he hasn't regained the confidence. I think we also talked about this in one of the games, why Ukwinika was always being brought back whenever, even after making mistakes. And I think Umandla who stated this, the difference between Ukwinika and Njabulo Ngcobo is the fact that Njabulo Ngcobo will make a mistake, Ukwinika will make a mistake. Similar kind of mistake, a mistake that will lead to a goal, right? But the difference between Ukwinika is that he's able to lift his head up, pick his head up, and continue playing. But the confidence, he can still be trusted by his teammates. No one can smell the fear in him. And on the other hand, a fear that is visible when it comes to Njabulo Ngcobo. And because of that, Dominic Isaac says pressure has gotten to Njabulo Ngcobo and now he has suffered because we know, we as Kaizer Chiefs fans, we call for these players and say, Abadlaliso, but then they fail to deliver. Pressure is too much for them because it just let Chiefs in general. It's very heavy. If you're enjoying this video, by the way, or you disagree with me or whatever, dislike the video, like the video, whatever, do whatever you feel like. Me, I'm not gonna say like the video, dislike it, comment, tell me why you disagree with me. Nothing wrong, not explain. Tell me what you think about Njabulo Ngcobo in my comment section. Now, let's talk about Junior Mendieta. Today, apparently, he was spotted not playing. He was spotted Pretoria. Mdlali maseba spotted Pretoria, that means they are just gone. And with Mendieta gone, because Sundowns are signing him apparently, it raises more fears to me, right? Because now, I'm thinking, okay, Chiefs were kind of out of that race to sign Mendieta. But now it makes me think, who is Chiefs going to sign? Because if it's Sundowns, or since the Sundowns have taken Junior Mendieta from the Pirates, because the Pirates also wanted Mendieta apparently, that means now Chiefs and Pirates are competing for Upulemodi. And since we are both competing for Upulemodi, the only advantage that we have is that when it comes to salaries, Chiefs does pay salaries. So Upulemodi being a free agent, it's kind of advantageous for Chiefs because we can just offer him a better deal, right? The problem is that Upulemodi might just want to play in the Champions League in his prime, and the Chiefs does not have a Champions League. And as you know, players want to play in these big competitions because in recent years he's been playing Bafana, so tick on that one. He wants to be in the greatest stage right now in African football, which is the Champions League. And also he kind of wants to be in Bafana. And the way Chiefs are performing right now, no player with Chiefs is in the Bafana squad. And if you look at that and you think, what if the team underperforms again in the coming season? What am I gonna do then? So now you see Gucci Chiefs has lost that pool because we're not competing in the best competition. We are also not playing the best football. So for your growth as a player, you look at it, even though Chiefs can offer me more money, I also have dreams. But I do believe ukuthi even if Pirates can say we have a Champions League, I have a better squad, I still think Chiefs actually does have an edge when it comes to signing Upulemodi because of the fact that we are probably going to offer him more salary, and because of that, he might just come to Chiefs. Because if you think about it, he's turning 30 and that could be his last contract. Maybe Chiefs gonna give him 3 years or 4 years of a contract. I think it's most likely to be 3 years, and in those 3 years he can perform with Chiefs and do what we need him to do. And then after Lapo, when he's 33, goes he plays for ETS Galaxy or he goes back to RE Arrows. Unless he's still performing well, then he can stay to 80 Chiefs and then retire Chiefs. But it's getting tricky because I heard there is another rumor that I find very weird, but there is nothing weird in football anymore. So Ukapinga, right? Ukapinga from Sundowns, he has a contract until June 2025, and he has apparently informed Sundowns that he wants to leave. With that happening, there is now a weird report that is saying Ukapinga might be involved in a swap deal for Pulemodi. I don't get why Sundowns, not Pulemodi, for Vincent Pule. So I don't understand why Sundowns would want to go for Vincent Pule. I'm just waiting to see that, because if that were to happen, then we have another problem. Because if Pirates let go of Vincent Pule, that means they need another winger, which means they would be even more desperate to sign up Pulemodi, given the fact that they've also lost out on Mendieta. So it's tricky, it's interesting, and June, it's only the 6th. Because wow, it's still gonna be deep. What do you think about all of this? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy.